Come on. Hello, everyone. Today we have a podcast episode about addiction. My name is Lucas.
My name is Jeremiah.
I'm Cade.
I'm Adam.
And back by the fans' request, it's Ethan.
All right. Glad to have you here again, Step.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Basically, what is addiction?
Well, addiction, I feel like people usually just think of drug addiction, but there's a lot of types of addiction.
Like gambling?
There's gambling, yeah, that's a big, being from Las Vegas.
I feel like addiction is really what hits that dopamine receptor.
Yeah,
and
no,
makes
that's
you come
what, okay,
back
that's what it is.
to
It
whatever
makes you
you're
come
doing.
addiction.
You feel like you need it.
Yeah, you're chasing. Essentially you're chasing a feeling, and addiction definitely has a negative connotation, and that's because of the how it's the effects and how addiction can become overbearing and start.
Can there be like a good addiction?
It can
I
take
mean,
over
It
your
can be
life.
good. Can it be good in some
It
ways?
can.
You could be addicted to running. You know,
Yeah.
the runner's high, the dopamine released in your
Yeah,
brain when you
fact.
run.
Yeah, that's a good
You could
thing.
be addicted to that.
But
So
a lot of the times, addiction can just take over your life.
Yeah.
Too much of anything can be bad.
anything in moderation is
Yeah.
well, not anything. There's
I was gonna
obviously
say,
stuff, but most things in moderation are good.
Yeah.
But when
Fine.
When it becomes like the
when
actual
anything starts
addiction,
to take
like,
over, if it starts
Yeah.
to take over and intrude all your thoughts, and that's all you think about, that's
That's all
obviously
you're
a problem.
spending your money on, your time,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
it
like
takes over your life.
drug addicts, they're just waiting for the next paycheck to go, pick up a crack rock. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever they want, whatever,
Like little
whatever
Susie
they,
from TikTok.
whatever like they choose as their drug of choice.
Yeah.
We see it a lot.
Another thing I want to talk about is like in drug addiction, like with actual drugs. There's a stat that it says it tends to be higher in areas with greater income, where they have more income.
That's interesting.
yeah.
But I think it stems from the fact that drugs are obviously
Expensive.
expensive, and they're expensive, and it's something. If a lot of time, you'll see people with a lot of money partying, doing cocaine and whatnot, drugs like that. But then I think on the other end of the spectrum, there's a lot of drugs are really prominent with homeless people.
Yeah.
And relating to our last episode, a lot of times people become homeless because drugs that addiction has taken over their
Another
life.
stat is like in 2021, there was roughly around 107,000 deaths due to drug overdoses.
I mean, that's
Crazy, Jay.
That's also another part of the health crisis we touched on last episode too. With there's a lot of problems with drugs causing health problems, which is really hard for people to pay for, especially people that are already struggling financially. And
We gotta do follow
getting people addicted to these drugs is just pumping more and more money into the economy and more money around, and it's really all impacting most people in a negative way, and it's not really helping anybody at all besides the rich people that pretty much control everything.
Yeah.
Indeed, son.
I feel like a big addiction is like food addiction. Like if you're addicted to food and you become fat, like your life is just like you just can't do some basic things. Like I don't want to bash fat people, but like I'm gonna just be like respectful. Like it just hurts your overall health.
Yeah, it has a lot of bad effects to your long-lasting health and can cause different diseases like diabetes and heart diseases.
Yeah.
All these types of things that
if you
come
look,
with eating a lot
America,
of food.
I'm not sure. I think it is globally. I think America leads in heart, cases of heart disease, and
Especially addicted to like fast food. Now that's the
fast
worst.
food,
It's the
and
money.
processed foods, things like that. People that eat so much of that crap,
and they put like that feeling that they get when they eat it ahead of their own health.
And then they think they'll go to Wendy's and they'll order a salad, and they'll get a salad from Wendy's and think that's healthy. Like,
But they'll
that's
get a
just
couple
crazy.
salads.
And they'll put a lot of dressing on those salads. And that salad has a lot of croutons in it.
yeah. So
Right.
a lot of the times with overeating and stuff, we see a lot of problems, and even especially as you get older, your body, like you're not around doing as much activities and all this, and as you get older, you really have to watch what you eat even more and more than you do as when you're kids. And we see a lot of people almost probably what half of the population would.
I think
is
it's
probably
over.
considered
I think it's
overweight.
over half of the. Yeah,
It's
like,
considered overweight or obese, so that's
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
not good. That's really
Over
not
half.
good.
Over
Pretty-
half.
almost a lot of
America.
people.
America's obese. It's crazy.
And look,
Yeah.
when
I
you
mean,
go out
man,
there-
come on, like, let's be real for a second. You know, some people obviously have pre-existing health conditions.
Yeah, it's
but
not
as
everybody,
But
but-
as a teenager, man, like, you gotta. It's just hard to comprehend sometimes. You know how overweight these people are. I mean, and it's sad, and it's like, and it's related to addiction. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
related to it has overtaken their life. And I see these
These young souls.
these fat people waddling down the halls and whatnot, and I just feel sad for them. You know, I feel bad.
Yeah,
It's
we do feel bad, but
Big back,
at some point they also do have a control, in that they can turn this around with proper dieting and proper exercise.
Yeah,
At
you
least
can always.
some people are always, going to be a little bit bigger than others,
they're
but you
just
can
born like
control
that.
it to an extent to where you're not putting
big to do
extreme.
basic
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
not. And I think the problem just comes when that extreme weight and obesity affects
Yeah.
your day-to-day activity. I mean, like, look at the show My 600-Pound Life. Like,
Yeah.
I seen these two sisters. They can't even get out the armchair.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
bad. It's real
sad,
bad.
man. And I think a big part of addiction, just going back to like the general sense of it, is if someone's struggling through addiction, they need a lot of the time. They can't really do it on their own. They can't fight
They
that
need
addiction.
help.
They need help.
They need
So
that, they need that support.
Another thing too is like
That support.
we can't
They need guidance.
we can't keep telling people that are struggling from these problems that what they're doing is okay and that nothing's wrong. Like, we can't keep telling people that are extremely overweight that there's nothing wrong with being overweight and that there's not serious health problems that come with that. And and the same thing that goes with like people that are struggling with drugs such as alcohol, nicotine, anything like that, or more serious drugs like cocaine and heroin, anything like that, that it's okay that that's what they're doing and just keep,
And
they can keep doing this.
Yeah,
They need
and
to.
a lot of people that you see on the streets that are on the streets because of drug addiction, they'll tell you they didn't have any support group. They just kind of took it. They tried to take it on their own, and then they just became tweakers. I don't know.
So I want to get back into like substance. Here I have a stat, and it says approximately 40.30 million people in the United States
40.30.
had a substance
Wait,
use disorder.
wait, say it again.
What is- say that
40.3 million
There you go.
That is a crazy.
Had a
amount
what?
to die, man.
Had what?
had a substance use disorder.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, and there's around 330 million people, I believe, in the U.S. So 40 million is like,
That's a large chunk.
so that's a big portion of the adult population that's struggling with these problems.
There's so many people doing drugs, but not enough people seeking help and action.
That is also true. Not a lot of people are going to rehab.
And a lot of time
seeking help.
with addiction, people don't know they're addicted to something. They're not.
They're in
and
denial about
They're in
it.
denial.
You
Exactly.
want to speak, Lens?
They deny the fact that
Giggling.
they deny the fact that it's a problem. They think and a lot of time people always think that they can, when it pertaining to drugs and whatnot, people think they can just quit whenever they want. But then
they
when they
can't.
try
They
to,
really
they can't.
Even with the youth, we see a lot of alcohol and nicotine
I'd say more nicotine.
and weed.
Yeah.
Marijuana.
I see a lot of.
We see a lot of that.
I'm using the restroom. I'm sliding BR to relieve myself during class, and I can't even take a leak because these troublemakers are vaping in the bathroom.
Yeah, causing problems, like all up in the bathroom, just puffing their lives away, basically.
Yeah.
And it's also a huge waste of money for these kids, and a lot of them don't have jobs, and they're sneaking money away from their parents or finding other ways to get
Telling
money
the grandparents
to
they need,
to get
telling the
that
grandparents
fixed.
they
Yup.
need a haircut.
telling their grandparents that they need a haircut, telling that their grandparents it's their friend's birthday, telling their grandparents they need something to eat, telling their grandparents. And with
They
this,
might be gone
it's
with
also doing big negative impacts on the youth because it could create a lot of health problems. As we've seen, a lot of kids end up in the hospital or end up with serious withdrawals when they're trying to quit, or other health issues with vaping and alcohol,
No, and-
especially alcohol too. A lot of kids think that alcohol is just normal because it's
see their
legal.
parents do
They
it.
see their parents doing these things and it's legal, and they think that it's okay. But
But your brain doesn't develop till you're
Facts.
too much.
I don't even think. Some people say
25,
now it's
25.
25. Yeah.
They say the younger you start, the more
Likely you are
prone
to
to
become
being
an addict.
hooked. Yeah, because it's like your body isn't fully developed.
It's growing up
Yeah.
being addicted to that. That's all it knows.
And relating to some of the health issues that go with these addictions, there's this fentanyl epidemic that's been going on. People smoking THC carts and fentanyl inside these carts. Like Fortnite carts.
The dealers.
goes on the news. Yeah.
These kids. Hey. Let me say
Mario
something.
Kart.
Let me say something. These kids. And because these kids are often going to street vendors that they find on social media or from other
slang
friends.
name for them is plugs.
Yeah. So these kids and these vendors, they don't really care about their customers. They're just trying to make some money, and the cheapest way for them to make money is to cut it and not use the real product, and they'll cut it with fentanyl, which can cause a lot of harm to someone if they inhale that.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say, and then now once you get addicted to it, now that's going back to addiction. Once you're addicted to it, you're never going to stop it. You're just going to be getting even more hardcore drugs, which are the ones that are really, really bad for you. You feel me? Stuff like fentanyl and what we were talking about. They're just so addicted to drugs like that.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. We see also a lot of homeless people getting laced because they're just finding these drugs for the cheapest prices anywhere. And when you're getting drugs for cheap prices on the streets and from illegal ways, especially, which is how most people get drugs, because most drugs are illegal, and you're going to see a lot of things being cut and not the true product that they desire, and this can lead to a lot of people being laced and leads to a lot of overdoses in our communities.
And one thing I find interesting is like gambling addiction.
Yeah, gambling.
Because it's not really it's more of like the anticipation of what you're going
What you
to
may
get.
win.
Yeah, exactly.
And another addiction is the slot machine addiction.
Yeah, that's gambling.
Craziest. They'll literally sit there.
Yeah, people.
Gambling, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They'll literally sit there just clicking buttons for the whole day, smoking cigarettes. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
I walk in, the hotel smells like bounce that booty because it's just cigarettes. They just sit there, they just click buttons, bro. They don't do nothing else. Bro. They're just so addicted to clicking buttons.
With gambling, people get addicted, and that's how you blow a lot of money. I mean, so many people, they blow all their money, and they're just bankrupt after that because they've spent all their money gambling at these casinos that are all rigged. I mean, pretty much, it's pretty well known that every casino is rigged for them to lose.
And
so
look, hold on.
They always think that they're gonna win big, but they never really will. And once they do, they're gonna keep gambling and they're gonna lose it all.
Yeah, that's why I find it so interesting because it's like that it's a low percent chance of you winning, but you still want to spend your money and take that risk. So it's it's really I can't really explain it. I really have to talk to somebody.
It's just sad that they're spending all their money, spending all their money on this when they know the percent is low. That's just what addiction does to you.
With this, we also see a large rise in sports prop betting and gambling, with things like Prize Picks and such. And most people aren't spending as much money, but a lot of people are spending thousands and thousands and even millions of dollars on prop betting for these sports games that
then they'll go get mad at the players.
Yeah, they get mad at the players just because they don't hit their bet for them. But people are spending all their money just gambling away, their hard-earned money a lot of the times that they've just given away for their addiction that they've built to gambling on these things.
Yeah, and we just want to summarize about how addiction is a big key role in some people's lives and how it takes over lives and ruins it for the big part. And those people don't realize that until it's too late.
Yeah, and I hope some people are watching this, and maybe if they are addicted to whatever, or they can use it as
building an addiction.
They can use this as motivation.
If they're drinking alcohol every Friday night.
Yeah.
Even more often that people that drink every night, smoke every night, gamble every day, all these things that a lot of it's common. A lot of people do these things, and we're not blaming you, and we're not trying to say that you're a terrible person or anything like that, but just know that there is ways to better yourself, and getting off of these things are going to be a better way for you to improve your life. And with that, we'd like to conclude our podcast. Yep, for today, and we'll see you next time.